what's coming up next is our talk about the emerging trends in China and the new development trends in the Chinese tourism market. And for that, also thanks to the sponsor, the World Tourism Cities Federation. And for our next moderator, I hand now over to the World Tourism Cities Federation. He's responsible for international relations, and with that I say welcome and hello. I hand over to you, Richard Matuzevich.
Good afternoon, Berlin. Nice to see such a nice crowd here. Today we're going to have a nice panel discussion, but first we're going to start with a short presentation from Ms. Bao Hong on Beijing tourism. Then the panel will be followed, and we have wonderful guests. We have Laura de Arce from Marbella Tourism. We have Mr. Li Yang from Fliggy. And last but not least, Professor Arlt from China Outbound Tourism Research Institute and Director of Meaningful Tourism. But before we start the session, please scan the QR code, because after the session we would love to have some questions from you too. Not only talk about what's going on in China, what are the trends, but we would also like to hear your questions, and I would like to forward these questions to our wonderful panel speakers, and to hope this way we can have some kind of engagement. So to start, I would like to welcome Ms. Bao Hong to give her presentation on Beijing tourism. Please welcome Ms. Bao Hong from Beijing Municipal Culture and Tourism Bureau.
Honorable guests and forum participants, good afternoon. I am Bao Hong from Beijing Municipal Bureau of Culture and Tourism, and today I'm very honored to be here to share with you some insights and experiences on Beijing's policy practices in the restoration and development of inbound tourism. First of all, as a national pilot city for inbound tourism, Beijing has taken the lead in launching a number of innovative policies, such as the following. Taking the lead in setting up a municipal-level inbound tourism promotion mechanism. Taking the lead in launching the Airport Payment Service Demonstration Zone and Payment Service Center. Taking the lead in issuing the implementation plan for Olympic payment services and enhancing payment convenience, taking the lead in building the country's first inbound consumption-friendly shopping district, taking the lead in realizing the overseas bank card tape card gate for urban rail transit in mainland China, and taking the lead in carrying out the pilot project of online application and offline card collection for foreigners to apply for SIM cards. And second, Beijing Municipal Bureau of Culture and Tourism focuses on supply and demand docking inbound tourism new products out of the circle. New products such as Central Essex theme tours and tournament tours were launched, and the 2024 Chinese tennis champions Alacas and golf visited Forbidden City, generating a lot of buzz. The trendy app Pop Mart Land attracts Southeast Asia tourists. Sushi Street inbound tourists increased by 245%, and Mutianyu Great Wall counted for 40% of foreign guests. Third, Beijing adheres to the standard of excellence, and the service environment has been fully optimized and upgraded. The city's 8,000 merchants support foreign card payment, 11,400 ATMs support foreign card cash withdrawals, and the 2 major airport payment demonstration zones have served more than 31,000 foreign tourists, with transaction amounting to 550 million yuan. We have also issued 39,000 Beijing Pass cards for expatriates, covering multiple scenarios such as transportation and consumption, and increased the number of departure tax refund stores to 1,147, with the tax refund amount increasing 1.5 times year on year. Last but not least, implementation of precise marketing through the Hello Beijing Overseas Promotion, the World Tourism Summit, the Great Wall Live Card, and Live Card and other activities will attract more than 100,000 global audience to interact online. Overseas social media exposure reached 360 million times. Diplomats from 72 countries were invited to visit new landmarks such as the city's sub-center and the Shougang Park, and tourism enterprises actively participated in international exhibitions to expand the influence of charming Beijing. The next step is to seize the opportunity of the 240-hour visa-free transit policy and focus on 4 areas of work. First, we will enrich the supply of high-quality products, launch personalized thematical itineraries, and invite international travelers to visit and cooperate with Beijing. Secondly, we will send up publicity and promotion, relying on the Hello Beijing brand, international festivals and exhibitions, and Netflix resources to expand the influence of charming Beijing. In addition, we will continue to improve service levels, optimize airport service, resume international flights, build a barrier-free payment zone, and upgrade the Beijing Pass application scenario. Finally, we will unleash the potential of inbound consumption by linking up with food festivals and film festivals, promoting the development of Beijing gifts, and expanding the coverage of buy now refund tax rebates. With these remarks, Beijing, a city that combines the heritage of ancient capital with modern vitality, will be more open to welcome global tourists and show its unique charm to the world. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Now we're going to continue with our panel discussion. So I'd like to invite my panel guests. Please come on the stage. Before we start the panel discussion, I would just like to set the small scene. So just keep in mind, Chinese economy for 2024 has been growing at around 5%. No inflation. You can make comparisons with other countries and see, where the growth is coming from and where the growth will come from. So just for that in mind. My first question goes to Wolfgang. In 2024, we started, in 2024, we reached the numbers of 130 million Chinese outbound tourists, which is 30 million less that we had in a peak in 2019. What does these numbers tell us? Where are we going from here? Give us some of your thoughts.
Yes, thank you very much.
And maybe introduce yourself also a little bit.
Yes. So first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to the panel. Thank you to those present to come here, and thank you to everybody online looking at our panel. My name is Professor Dr. Wolfgang Arlt. I'm living since half a year in Nepal, in Kathmandu, where, of course, next to India, China is the main source market for international tourism. So that I've been working with Chinese outbound tourism before for many years, but of course now in Nepal it's still a very central topic. And I've also been a couple of times in China in recent months, including in one wonderful Beijing, of course. And clearly there is a big change in the way Chinese outbound tourism is organized, in what people are looking for. And so in a nutshell, it is more intensive, it is more interested in where people go, it is less sightseeing, it is less shopping, and much more getting in touch with the local population, with the local situation, the local culture. It is so therefore also much more individual travel, so the number of people traveling in groups is going down all the time. It's certainly not fashionable anymore. You can't brag about being a member of a group travel. And it's more and more going for special interest. So in Nepal, that means, among other things, spirituality. So there's a lot of, especially of younger Chinese people, who are looking for nothing less than the meaning of life, how to have a happy life. So China, of course, has been going through a long time of where consumption was the idea. If I have 5 Gucci bags, then I must be happy. And now a lot of people in China achieved 5 Gucci bags, and they found, well, I'm not really happy yet. And then, of course, the pandemic struck, and for a couple of years, people understood, also in China, that life is very precarious and can be over soon. And so my impression is that it's a good news for the tourism industry that Chinese tourists want to go to new places, to smaller places, stay longer at one place, are more interested to eat local food and encounter local culture. So there's much more what the tourism industry can offer, which is now finding interest in the Chinese market. And which also means, of course, that you have to know your customer better than ever before, because the Chinese tourist probably didn't exist before, but now is existing even less. And if you have some special thing to offer, if that is from bird watching to food to architecture to culture, then it's a good idea to offer this to the travelers. Another important point is that all the surveys, and I'm sure my colleagues will talk more about this, are showing that it's now value for money. So the Chinese travelers have more experience than before what you can get for your money in other places. Also, there was a time when it was chic to say, I buy the most expensive bottle of wine, I don't care, I can burn my money, I'm so rich. Now this has changed, that it is much more the clever traveler, so the person who is knowing how to get a good price, or at least getting exactly what you want for your money. So Chinese, and we talk about 100 million people out of 1.4 billion, don't forget that. We're talking about the top 5, 6, 7% of the population. The Chinese still have enough money to travel, but they are more careful with their money, and they are more looking at what do I get for my money. So as long as you offer good quality, as long as you really understand what does your group of people want, and that can be simple things that in Beijing there's strong, harsh winter, so Beijing people will be happy about sunshine. If you live in Hangzhou or in Guangzhou, you have sunshine all the time. You are not a sun seeker. That's very simple things, but also especially for younger people, that they are much more interested to learn about sustainability, to learn about green issues. So this is a topic which has become very important also in China, because also in China, climate change consequences are more and more felt. So that is also something where maybe, especially we are here in Europe, Europe can have things to show how we have been tackling questions of sustainable tourism, of ecotourism. So these are all topics which are now becoming much more important. And so this is just for an overview. I'm sure my colleagues will have some more to say on that.
Thank you, Wolfgang. Indeed, winter wasn't that harsh this year in Beijing. Yeah. So maybe, Liang, maybe you can we can pick on what Wolfgang was saying, and maybe from Fliggy's point of view, you know, you see, maybe you can give a short introduction. What is Fliggy, and what do you see are the trends from the, you know, Fliggy's platform? From also what we see is that Chinese yuan has been appreciated against some currencies like South Korean won, Japanese yen, and New Zealand dollar, and these are the kind of hot destinations for the Chinese New Year, for example. So maybe you can, yeah, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Richard. And I'm Leo from Fliggy. Fliggy is an online travel platform from Alibaba Group. We are the travel platform of Alibaba. So our headquarters is also based in Hangzhou, where Jack Ma founded Alibaba as well. And we provide all kinds of tourist products, including flight tickets, hotels, attraction tickets, and everything. And we also cooperate with a lot of partners, like hotel groups, Marriott, Intercontinental, Hilton, and theme parks like Disneyland, Universal Studios. They all have their flagship stores on our platform. So they are doing business with the Chinese customers directly. So we are on an open platform, and this business model also applies to our cooperations with a lot of airline partners as well. And so when Richard talked about the tourism trend of last year, to be frank, the year 2024 should be a milestone of the Chinese market because, for example, for the domestic travel, there are over 4.6 billion packs of domestic travel. That's almost reached the same number in 2019, which has a record in history. And actually, the expenses of the domestic travel has already surpassed pre-COVID period. As for outbound travel, last year there are over 140 million packs of outbound tourists. But of course, this includes the outbound tourists to Hong Kong and Macau. But they're also facing some changes after the COVID. First of all, that the needs of the Chinese tourists are more and more diversified. So I partly agree with Wolfgang, and but there's still a great amount of needs for sightseeing, shoppings, because when we talk about China, China is so complicated due to the large population. So the needs is diversified, but we do see a significant shift towards experiential and thematic travel. People are more and more focused on experience tourist products. For example, people would like to travel to a foreign destination just for a concert or sports event. They just stay there for like 2 or 3 days and then they come back. That happens a lot. And according to our platform's data, like over 60% of the tourists, they will have at least one fine dining during the restaurant. They love to taste the local food, good restaurant. And so which also results a trend that the percentage of FITs increased a lot compared to pre-COVID. For some destinations like Japan, Thailand, the percentage of FIT accounts for like over 80%. So it's very hard for you to see like big buses, big group tours of the Chinese tourists anymore. That's a big change. And another notable change that, especially for the young travelers, they are more focused on eco-friendly travels. They're willing to pay for even higher money for sustainable tourist products. They also intend to choose destinations which emphasize sustainability. And as for the popular destinations, of course, the traditional destinations like Japan, Thailand, Singapore remains popular. But for example, Japan, for the first time, was the top one outbound destination last year, surpassed Thailand for the first time. And there are also some niche destinations increased a lot. For example, Turkey platform increased over 200% last year. And some destinations like Georgia, like Serbia, and even Brazil, some long-haul destinations, and Zambia. Those destinations can offer authentic experiences for the travelers that are all very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Leon. Indeed, definitely we see that, you know, Chinese people are valuing more Chinese tourists are valuing more experience than just, you know, taking a quick photos and next to the next sightseeing spot. My next question goes to Laura from Marbella. In 2024, there were almost 650,000 Chinese tourists that visited Spain, which is more than 66% increase compared to year 2023. What do Chinese tourists like about Marbella?
Well, thank you, Richard. Well, thank you for inviting us to join today. Well, as he said, my name is Laura. I'm representing Marbella as a municipality. I'm the director of tourism. And well, Marbella is, I guess you maybe know what it is. It's at the south of Spain, belongs to Andalusia, to Malaga, and is one of the most well-known tourism destination maybe in Europe, of course, in Spain. So we are working now. We are starting working with the China visitor, with the China as a tourism. So I guess I hope that this number of people visiting Spain last year start knowing our destination, and they will be able to visit us. In the past, as they say, most people who are interested in China tourism was interested in visiting culture. And I mean, we do have culture, but we know that it was not, I mean, talking about Andalusia, we know that maybe Seville, Cordoba, or Granada has much more culture that Marbella has, of course. We are a very small city. But talking about this flavor, talking about the way of living, I think that this is one of the most interesting things that we have, because we are already a big city. We are near 200,000 citizens, but we still keep the old town as a very, very old, not fashion, but very well known as a small town, a fishing town, or whatever like this. And this is important, because people coming to Marbella, they can enjoy this flavor that they were saying before. Gastronomy for us is very, very strong. We have, you can find from the top Michelin star with 2 stars, or just you can go eating some fishing by the sea, by the chiringuito that we call. So gastronomy is very important for us. It's one of the most important segment points of visit for visitors. Also, if we talk about sports, golf is very, very, very important, but now we are increasing a lot in different sports. In fact, Hotel Don Carlos, which is, if we talk about the hotelier offer, it is incredible because we have the most concentration of 5-star hotels in Spain. But if we talk, for example, Hotel Don Carlos, which it used to be a 5-star that is reopening in a couple of months. I'm talking about sport. They have a huge tennis court that now Rafa Nadal is going to take care of it. This is a very first new from last week. And this is the way that the sports are also increasing a lot and are improving a lot at the city. We do have this year in November the Ironman World Championship. So if we talk about the sport, Marbella is important in that segment. And same as we told you before, talking about gastronomy. And of course, the hotelier offer is incredible. So I think that's very, very well-known city already, but we need to be well-known in China as well. So this is what we are working right now on it. We are making a big investment in social media, and yes, we are trying to show what Marbella is offering to Chinese countries. So that's what we are working right now on it.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you. Maybe you can tell later, if you have time, what social media platforms you're investing in and doing the marketing on. My next question would go to Ms. Balhong. Ms. Balhong, maybe you could tell us what are the kind of most important markets for Beijing for inbound tourism, and what do foreigners like the most about Beijing? What are the favorite spots?
Okay. As for the top South countries, the first is USA, the second Russia, the third is Malaysia, fourth Singapore, and the fifth Japan, sixth Germany, and seventh South Korea, and then UK. As for the popular sports, we have traditional popular sites such as the world-famous Great Wall, the Forbidden City, the Summer Palace and Old Summer Palace, the Temple of Heaven and the Lama Temple, and so on. As for the modern popular sites, we have Central Essex, Universal Beijing Zone, Olympic Park, 7 and 8 Art Zone, Shougang Park, Gubei Water Town, and Pop Mart City, and so on.
Thank you. I think indeed Shougang is a very nice place where some of the events were held for Beijing Winter Olympics 2022. And as you mentioned, the Central Axis, I think, is very nice, nice way to see the old Beijing, to experience the culture. You can enjoy it. You can use the shared bike and ride a bicycle along it. I think it's a very nice product, and I hope Beijing continues to innovate in these kind of ways. Okay, let's get to the questions from the audience. And the first one is, where do you see China in the next 10 years? Maybe Wolfgang, if you could, under a minute, you can maybe answer this question.
Well, where do you see China in the next 10 years? Well, my answer is very short. If anybody tells you he or she knows where China will be in 10 years, that person has no idea about China. I think it is really, China has developed since the 1990s continuously until the pandemic, growing at a high speed. This is over. It's not only for China over, it's for the whole world over. We have all the political and economical problems in the world. We have climate change destroying more and more of established patterns and supply chains and so on. And therefore, how will China develop? Certainly China has to change. China has to change and has to become more innovative. China has reached in many areas the top level, so there's nobody else to learn from. So therefore, certainly China will be very different in 10 years from what it is now. In which direction? Well, if you look at the news of the last few days, developments are so crazy and unexpected. So therefore, play by ear. So your China strategy certainly has to be look carefully at what is happening and react to changes. Don't take anything for granted. And so that is a clear answer. China, I think even in China, well, I have been asking many Chinese friends, where do you see China in 5 years, not even 10 years? And everybody has the same answer. We don't know. We don't know what will happen. Until now, China always found a good answer and a good way forward. So let's hope that this time this will be the same.
Maybe I can add to that China has 1.1 billion active internet users active. So I think this is the space to look out. As for the next question, how can China improve exactly its global image, reducing digital and language barriers, enhancing service quality, ensuring safety for foreign travelers? Maybe, Liang, you would maybe want to attack some of those?
Yeah, and actually I'm also part of the Fliggy's, Alibaba Fliggy is also one of the co-partners of the Chinese Tourism Ministry to improve its inbound tourism. I had a seminar with the Deputy Minister last month, and we do discuss a lot about the current barriers for the for international tourists to China, and we can see, including the Chinese government and the tourism companies, attach great importance to it. So I think there are several things we can do. For example, the communication problem, we know it, the payment, because the Chinese people are getting used to mobile payment already. The penetration rate of mobile payment is over 86%. If I'm correct.
Basically, we can say that China has become a cashless society.
Yeah, so that's why actually last year, interestingly, one of the most important mission for the Chinese tourism authority is to ask those merchants, offline merchants, to get those credit card device again, because that's the top one priority for the Chinese tourism authority. So we do tried a lot, and I think maybe the new technology can help us, especially like the artificial intelligence. And as Alibaba company, we have one of the most powerful artificial intelligence technology in China. We have Alibaba Cloud, and so we recently cooperated with Apple to provide Apple Intelligence in the Chinese market, and we are also having some cooperations with the Chinese government, some local authorities, to provide AI tourism assistance for the international tourists. With this AI assistant, you can easily plan your itinerary, which this assistant can support over 20 different languages, which covers over 99% of the global population. And you can just even book flight tickets, high-speed trains, hotels, attraction tickets directly online.
Thank you. Thank you. Last question is, how can Europe meet the expectations of Chinese, like bringing cultural gaps, integrating payment systems, tailoring marketing and services to their preferences? Anyone wants to attack this? My kind of suggestion to Europe is, definitely integrate payment systems, fast and convenient payments. For cultural gaps, I think it's nice that there are different cultures. I mean that's what travel is for. You go to other places to experience the authentic culture. So I think there's. Well, yeah, maybe Wolfgang, Laura.
Well, I think it is still clear when we talk about culture gaps that Chinese tourists are very happy if you show respect to the Chinese culture, to respect that there are, the biggest student source market in the world, and that you treat them at least, if not better, than other people. So I'm living in Nepal now, and in Nepal, if I travel, I need a new tourist visa, I pay $125 for the tourist visa. Indians and Chinese pay $0. So this is an example where Chinese tourists, for once, are treated better than Western tourists, and Chinese tourists are very happy about that. Right. On the one hand, everybody is happy to have some, to save some money, but also it is the gesture that we say, yeah, India and China, these are our main markets, so we give you some special treatment. So this is something, if you can come up with some idea where you say, in my destination, in my company, I do something where I tell the Chinese market, look, we do this especially for you, that will be very well received, beyond the material positive effect it has, as a sign of respect and as a sign of special attention to the Chinese market.
But China is doing also that there has been several visa-free regimes granted to several Europeans and Southeast Asian countries. So China is also doing a lot of job to attract inbound tourists. Okay, we have the last minute. Maybe some last words before we wrap up. Maybe we can, from Ms. Baohong, what would be, maybe if you can give the audience, what would be the one place foreigners must visit in China, in Beijing?
Okay, looking forward, Beijing plans to use policies like the 240-hour with a free transit to boost its global appeal. And they are focused on creating world-class tourism products, improving international promotion, and upgrading city services to become China's #1 destination for international travelers and a top global tourism hub.
Thank you. Laura, your concluding words.
Well, I have to say that next November we are going to celebrate the World Tourist City Federation Congress in Marbella. So, dates are not fixed yet, but I know that it's going to be maybe just a couple of days before World Travel Market or just after World Travel Market, just considering that many clients from China will be already in London. So from here, I want to say that everybody's inviting in to come. That I think it's going to be a very, very interesting Congress. At the same time, talking about the last question, I think that this is a great opportunity for the Spanish companies to know how to proceed with the Chinese tourism, and talking about ways of payment and all kind of details like this. So. Just to say that everybody is welcome in Marbella next November.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining the session. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, so back to Katie and see you next year.